Bonjour, welcome to the third space, the podcast by French Doors. Quite an eventful week. We switched studios. We have a new venue at the Rabbit Hole for the podcast dinner, and we're still in the delightful company of our producer Santo. So this week, I am very happy to have as our third guest on the podcast my dear friend slash brother Kent Evans. Hi Ken, bonjour.
Hey Victoire.
How are you?
I'm good. We made it to first base once, didn't we?
Something like that. So Kent is how did you tell me? You say spoken word artist,
A spoken word artist, an author, and a musician, composer.
Yeah, I would like to start with that because I feel like this podcast is like really quite taking a music orientation over the next couple of months because you are the first of a series of three musicians coming to the podcast, and I'm so happy you're the first. It's delightful.
Awesome.
So I've heard that last month you were in Ohio promoting, well, not really promoting. You got an award for your.
It was actually Oklahoma.
Same.
Yeah, that was the Bare Bones International Film and Music Festival, which was lovely. It's the longest running festival in Oklahoma, and it's in Muskogee, which is this funny kind of last picture show kind of town. It's terrible for trying to watch my diet. But yeah, we ended up winning the audience award for best music video.
Congratulations!
Thank you. So that was for Kenwood and Mites, which is a current project I have with Volker Mites, who's based out of Berlin. He's with Sonar Collective, did stuff with Jazz Nova, that kind of thing, and we've had a long-running collaboration since really before the millennium. So.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to take you exactly. Like, how did you start music? Like, what moved you? What drove you to become a musician?
What made me start music? Well, my dad was a guitarist, and I guess a very early memory of mine was wandering around Greenwich Village where he was playing a gig and just being totally enamored of the scene and the people and everything about it. And so, of course, at a very young age, I started fiddling around with his guitars. I wouldn't say I actually got really into it until I was about 15. And that's when I started my first terrible punk band.
What was the name of it?
Stalag 17. It's named after an old World War II movie, which none of us had even seen, but we thought sounded cool.
It's like Blink-182. Nobody knows what it stands for.
Yeah, who knows?
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
So you play guitar, but you play like a bunch of other
Yes,
instruments.
so I started on guitar, and I also started as a vocalist with that crappy punk band back when. And shout out to the Tims and Omar if they're listening. And then I was always doing both writing and music, even before I really knew that was what I was seriously into. And by the time I got to college, I had started becoming much more serious about both. And I had written my first novel, and I was playing out in the village all the time. And it was always this, weird mix of I was one of those guys that in the early 90s, like, people were super parochial about like what genre of music they listened to. Like, if you were into hip hop, you couldn't be into rock, and if you were rock, you couldn't be into techno.
But they're segregated, like you're this or you're that.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And I loved all three of those things. Like, I was a raver showing up in a Metallica shirt, and like.
I think, and like, you're one of the pioneer for this kind of thing. And I think you being this absolutely excellent lyricist like helps you with that, so, like, switching genre and adapt to different kind of styles.
I mean,
being a kind of a chameleon kind of vibe.
Yeah, I mean, the joke I'm always making is that I've spent my entire career trying to get musical crowds to read and get readers to listen to
I
music.
think the same. I feel the same. Like read the lyrics, it means something. Listen.
Yeah.
But yeah. And yeah, and like and all of it, like this is why I really look up to you on all of us. Like everything in your practice like intertwines. So you work with Ashley on the videos, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ashley Fell. He's a filmmaker based out of Guanajuato, Mexico. And at this point, Ashley and I have worked on two short films together where I've done the soundtracks. The Old Bones, which will be coming out next year, and Vera Airlines, which came out a few years ago as a web series. And sort of it's like a barter thing where like I'll do work on his soundtracks and he'll end up shooting music videos for me. So at this point he shot for my solo album, A Crash Course in the Anatomy of Robots. He shot a music video called Too Many Nights, which ended up winning the Asians on Film
We have to put the link for all of that
film
on the
festival,
podcast,
best
definitely.
best music video. And then he subsequently shot two music videos and one live music video for Epic Fail 1893, which was kind of my like, you know, I don't know what I would call it, a half-ass like super group. So I was like, it was like me.
But I love the concept. I need to know more about it. What do you call it? A half-assed super group.
Yeah, it was a bunch of guys from all different other main projects, and we got together and basically we wanted to write a serious progressive rock album that at the same time lyrically was a piss take on all the genres that we were playing.
Mm.
And so that was with me, Zombie Morgan from Seven Rays, Carl Restivo from Tom Morello, Gillian Glover, who's the daughter of Roger Glover from Deep Purple, Samuel
You know that Deep
Sandra.
Purple is the best concert of my life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
and I've
guys are
seen a lot
great.
of concerts, and I'm not a massive fan of Deep Purple, but Deep Purple is like out of this world. And I think you like well, you're not the level of Deep Purple, but like I know like for example when you play with Thomas does a lot of like video projection in your concert, and this is
Yeah.
kind of the same experience, like of all the senses, and something I really want to like this like yeah exactly you intertwine everything in your practice. And when I was reading about you for writing this interview, I know that your second novel, a Crash Course on the Anatomy of Robots, because you're also an award-winning
I'm
author.
an award-winning author. Yeah.
You are accompanying it with a soundtrack, and I find it extremely exciting. I've seen that in graphic novels, but I've never seen that for like pure prose like novel, and I find it super exciting. I haven't looked into it yet, but I would like to know more about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy because back when robots came out, um,
So the full
I,
name is
a
A
crash
Crash
course
Course
on
on the
the Anatomy
Anatomy
of
of
Robots.
Robots by Kent
Yeah,
Evans.
and it has nothing to do with robots. What's hilarious is when Craig Kilburn had one of the late night shows, he had he reached out to me to be on his show to talk about robots because obviously he hadn't researched me properly, and I was
Yeah.
like, the book's not. It has nothing to do with robots, but. In any case, yeah, I decided I'm a musician and I've been in multiple bands and projects, and I just thought it would be really cool since it was the first novel that I had that was coming out as an ebook. If the technology was available where I could embed a soundtrack to it, I thought why not?
I think
And
that's absolutely fantastic of an idea. What are some of the tracks you put you and why is it linked like give it like what would be what the most significant track you link to the book and what part of the book does
well,
it link to?
for example, so the music video that Ashley shot that won all the awards, Too Many Nights. The full title is Too Many Nights, the Nuyorican. There was this famous performance poetry spot in New York. It still exists, called the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, and it's great. And it's launched the careers of so many amazing spoken word artists, as well as other musicians who have done spoken word. But at the same time, it's just the whole notion of slam poetry, just kind of judging poetry on a scale of 1 to 10. It makes people basically lean in really hard into stuff that works with the crowd. So if you're a black lesbian talking about your fourth period in drug addiction this week. Like that'll land, that'll hit. And so the whole poem, the Too Many Nights of the New Rican, was about being sick of having to like, oh, I got it. Every piece I got to do, I got to talk about being Chinese. Like I never talk about being Chinese. Hilariously, that's the one that won
it shows
yeah, but that's hilariously, that's the video that won the Asians on Film Best Music Video.
I love that. I love that. This is so funny. Yeah, and but yeah, I know your writing is so very important. I think this is something like you and I connected over like very fucking much.
Yeah,
Like
you're an awesome poet.
Oh, thank you. And so are you. This is what you hear. And I find like writing, personally, I find writing as painful as I find it a relief. And I know you're like kind of tortured in your writing, but you also have like sometimes it's kind of like dark humor. You know what I mean? Like very like, like cringy might not be the right word, but you know, like it's like it hurts, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, what's funny is my first novel, Malisondas, was basically about me self-destructing and drinking and drugging and fucking my way across Mexico. And, I wrote it thinking quite seriously about myself. And everyone, when the book came out, all the reviews and everyone was like, oh, this book is hilarious. And I was like, oh, I'm glad my misery is hilarious to everyone.
I know, same. Like, cause I'm right, and I would like not all the time, but I also often write when I'm in a lot of pain, and like when it's so satisfying and so pain, like. But yeah, like and like people are like, "This is great." Like yeah,
Yeah.
like yeah.
Well, what's funny is then when I wrote
So good, it
when,
hurts.
when I wrote Robots, I was then like, okay, I'm funny. I'll make it funny. And that book came out, and people were like, "Wow, that's the darkest thing I've ever read." And I was like, "Damn it, failed again." But no, it's funny I mean, the general. So the thing I always say is writing is something that I have to do. It's a release, and for me, is basically taking the demons in my own head and putting them into a paper cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally I don't know if like over people who listen will relate to that, but I know myself personally I really relate to that. It strikes you. It's like the midnight oil. It strikes you, and you cannot stop. But it's a matter of survival. Like it's like you're breathing again. It's an extraordinary experience to write, and when you're so very excellent at it. Do you have like okay, it might be a trick question, and you can take your time to think about it. But if you have like a couple of lines of a poem that you might want to like tell us or like read to us.
Let me think if I could think of something off the top of my head from the soundtrack and from the novel. Okay. The beginning of the end of Pre-Millennium Blues, sitting in Butterfly Pad, Clinton Hill. Mine ushering a virtual flashback, bringing in the new year. A post-apocalyptic hiatus, the taste of a girl fresh in my mind. The chemical imbalance rewind of ecstasy overload running temporal havoc in my senses in the consensus of mass apathy. In the city of itty-bitty spiders rhyming and climbing to the top of the world, found twirled and unfurled on the finger of God, or you, or me, or a dog with a bone. Found alone in the nexus of transformers abraxas, there are thoughts before taxes, or thoughts which have racked this mine all too long. Sing me a song, girl, sing me a song. About love and redemption and cancer-driven irony, moving along like hating exception and rancor bigotry, because sex is an extension of love. Yes, sex is an extension of love. Yes, sex is an extension of love, but you still like to fuck. And you can worship the conventions above and still think they suck. And when a man asks for change in Modelfield, Soho, but your heart says rearrange and your mouth says, now, bro. Keep it on with the flow, on the go to the end of humanity and the sanity of a killing jar, or madness from afar we call society, still treasuring statistical calamity over sobriety. Rust in pieces, electrode, Jesus. Your cathode lies and spoon-fed lies have bludgeoned me with Pepsi, Spice Girl, G.I. Joe, Sabrina Carpenter, fatalism. And we deserve what we get. Yeah, we deserve what we get when it comes, if it comes, in this frantic stage of self-sabotage, this frantic stage of utopian mirage, this moment of time, just for you, just for you, just for you.
Oh my God! Yes. That was fucking amazing.
You can, I I don't have a piece of
Whoa.
paper in front of me or
No,
anything.
no,
So
he doesn't. He
if I miss a
doesn't.
couple
He
lines,
doesn't. It's just top of his head. Dude, you're never gonna get Alzheimer if you practice like this. This is insane. Oh my god, absolutely love it. Oh wow. Okay, so okay, I'm like, I need to take a breather. So that was the first part of the podcast. We're gonna listen to a little of your music actually, because the two tracks on the podcast today are some of your bands. You will tell us after what it was. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited. We are taking a little music break. So, and coming back for part two, where I got some more trick question for you.
Just because you're paranoid. Just because you're paranoid. Doesn't mean they're not watching you. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching you. You are empty like the portraits of my life. You are empty like the portraits of my life. You are empty. You are empty. You are empty like the portraits of my life. You're empty. You're as empty as the portraits of my life. Just because you're paranoid. 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 Because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching you. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not watching you. You're empty. You're empty. You're empty. You're empty. You're empty. Just because you're paranoid. You're empty. Just because you're paranoid. You're empty. Like the portraits of my life.
Cool. All right, we are back. So, Kent. So that was one of your song. Can you tell us a little bit more about this song? Riding bikes, right?
Riding bikes in Berlin.
Yay.
Yeah. So this is off of Volume 2 of the Kent Wood and Mites Berlin session albums, which are all coming out this summer. And Riding Bikes was basically, essentially, like Volker and I had recorded together in 2000, a million years ago, for his solo album.
I was born in 2000.
Yeah, so, oh my God. Anyway, Volker had his first solo album come out, which was called Vertical, and I was a guest on that album. And that was when I was living in Paris and spending a lot of time in Berlin working with Volker.
Oui, tu parles français.
Oui, je parle un petit peu français.
We're going to keep going in English, but yeah, that's good to know.
Basically I came back to Berlin years later, and we were sitting around basically working on some new tracks with this, in this case, Motorbread, which was a trio with Volker, as well as, I'm going to butcher their names, Lars Lohn and Stefan Kilsleek.
Yeah, your German is not as good as
my
your
German
French.
is not as good as my French. But in any case, when we sat down and started working on some lyrics, it just instantly made me nostalgic, and therefore the whole track, Riding Bikes in Berlin, is kind of a nostalgic throwback to that time when we were first recording together.
Nice. Well, I really, really enjoyed it. And thank you for that. And so, as you know, like the second part of the interview for the podcast, I like to do some form of creative interview. And when I surprised Sophia with Maho, like was self-interviewing her, Thomas was his first time. And I know you have two cultures. You're a very ambivalent person. You have those two aspects to your work, like the writing and the music. I know everything intertwines in you. So I was thinking of doing like the polar opposite interview.
Okay.
So I'm gonna throw you contraries, or maybe not contraries, but different things, and you tell me what you prefer. Okay.
Okay.
So as an old fucking soul, and like who always like making fun of me for being so young, what do you really prefer? Mexico in the 2020s or New York in the 90s?
Oof. That's. I mean, that's funny because they're actually quite similar. At this point, parts of Mexico City are very similar to Greenwich Village in the 90s.
It is very
So,
much.
I mean, you could say that I've managed to extend that era for
the longest
for
time
30 or 40 years.
Where's the next step? Oh no, you don't have any next step. You're staying,
well,
right?
I'm gonna,
Ready to hedge
Cambodia.
well, yeah. Okay, next question. Whiskey or tequila?
Oh, again, you're killing me here. Okay, so there's the same sort of thing. Like, I'm a whiskey drinker when I'm not in Mexico, but obviously in Mexico, mezcal and tequila are my. I mean, I own the first mezcal bar in the state,
Yeah.
so I gotta go
Well,
with
it's in
tequila.
Guanajuato, right?
It's in Guanajuato, yeah.
I always butcher the name when we talk about it.
It's El Fusilado
Yeah, exactly.
Mezcal Bar, which
I think I
it
did
translates. There's no direct one-word translation in English, but it's the guy who gets it in a firing squad.
Nice. Next, we're gonna get even darker. Cocaine or weed?
So I used to be such a pothead, but then, I had a very terrible trip on mescaline where I smoked a blood of kind right before it all went wrong, and a 300-foot
Lord.
caterpillar came in.
Is this an anecdote we can find in one of your books?
I'm trying to remember. It was published in an article in YRB magazine, which but basically they asked me to write an article about ecstasy, and I was like, I think the title of the article was actually "This is not
Basically,
ecstasy." Not
his
about
answers
ecstasy.
is all of the above.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. That's gonna be a tricky one as well. Are you more poetry or prose?
Oof.
Oof.
Okay, so I prefer to write poetry and I prefer to read prose.
Good one. Good answer. Then another tricky one. Are you more like a blowjob kind of person or like the full full sex?
I mean, who doesn't like a blowjob? But I'm more of a full sex sort of guy.
Oh, that's cute. Soft and tender. Bob Dylan, or I don't know. I never had sex with him for one. Just kidding. No, I'm not kidding.
Jesus Christ.
Like never. For fuck's sake. Anyway, Bob Dylan or Trent Reznor, because those are two of the influence you mentioned when
Those
talking
are
about your
two
music.
two huge heroes of mine.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan lyrically, Trent musically.
That's nice. Okay. Another one about music. Leonard Cohen or the Beastie Boys?
Oh, okay, that's like damn near impossible. But since I'm a New Yorker, I gotta go with the Beasties. I mean,
Oh, okay.
he is Canadian after all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But I think you, well, almost as good of a lyricist as Leonard Cohen, to be honest. Maybe not as
Oh,
Bob
stop
Dylan,
it.
but as Leonard Cohen. No, I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that. Then, like, a trick question, but I know what you're gonna say. Next one is, do you prefer Irish food after your father or Chinese food after your mother?
I mean, come on. I mean, what Irish food is just salt, right? I gotta go
Potato
Cantonese.
skin.
Yeah.
No, but like you're famously known for disliking potatoes and rice.
Yeah,
which is,
I'm just
Irish,
yeah,
Chinese
I
is
know.
not
I'm just not a big fan of carbs.
No, I definitely like, yeah. Well, like pasta maybe.
Sometimes a handmade pasta,
Yeah.
you know, it'll hit somewhere in the comfort zone.
Yeah. How's your non-red meat diet going, by the way?
Oh man,
How does it feel to be old, motherfucker?
Oh Jesus Christ!
50, how does it hit 50?
You know, I just, you know, I don't want to be the first person on either side of my family to have a heart attack. So,
That would be nice.
you know, so yeah, I mean, I love steak, I love lobster, I love all the things, ice cream, all the stuff that you know, that's bad for you. But yeah, I've been
okay.
eating a lot of chicken salads lately.
Aw.
Yeah,
Do you know how to make Caesar salad from scratch?
I do. But
That's
I don't. But I don't
delicious.
love it so much.
Really?
No. I'm
So
more
what
of
do you
a,
put in your chicken salad? Give us a good recipe, man.
I'm more like walnuts and cranberries and you know, goat cheese and baby spinach.
I assume that's the
chicken.
influence of your hippie girlfriend.
Yeah.
Your hippie-
My Australian healthy
Yeah.
eating partner.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey Zoe.
And also, oh yeah, good question. Zoe 10 years ago or Zoe now? Zoe is Ken's life partner.
You know, I always liked Zoe and I love her now. I don't know. 10 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I wouldn't have been the right guy.
No, Zoe, every day. We love you, girl. We love you so much. You're the best. And yeah. So yin or yang?
I mean, you know, I'm showing a tattoo
Oh
of
my God.
a yin yang on fire right now.
Yeah.
Like you know, I guess I love balance.
So neither. Anarchy.
No, and well, balance on fire apparently.
I like that. Really good. Well, thank you so much, baby. Like, I like that. And is there anything else you want to say before we switch to the third part?
I don't know. What should I be saying right now?
Oh yeah, you have an LP coming out.
Yeah. So the it's
It's
going to
not
be.
gonna be ready for the dinner. Right?
It's not going to be ready for. Well, hopefully, the digital release will occur in time for the dinner. But the actual there's going to be limited print vinyls on all 3 volumes of the Berlin sessions, and that's Kentwood and White's. And digitally, they'll be available everywhere. But as far as vinyl production, coordinating between Germany, the States, and Mexico, it's looking more like I'll have those in August.
But we will have some samples at the dinner.
Yeah, of
At,
course,
at,
of
at,
course.
at least you're gonna at our dinner you're gonna play live anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually play live at the dinner with Zombie from Seven Rays and Cayetano from another project I have called Dust Industry. Well,
I'm so
now
incredibly
Dust.
excited about
Yeah.
it. We're gonna tell you more about it after another little break, and that's another song from Kent's band, and we'll tell you everything about it right after. Thank you. See you in a minute.
Riding bikes in Berlin, the sins of my father and mother are haunting me. Taunted and taught with the specter of youth. Once a child nursed in black, digging deep in stacks, but now something different and colder. Stigmatically indifferent, the brave new world has come. Twin Tower conspiracies, the subtle belief that you may not have my best interest in mind. I find myself longing for simpler times. Brown bags and 40s, living rooms and shorties, brand new Jenkos and the beauty of a mix. Liquid Sky and Pseudo and Mañana's Bien Crudo, covering blocks like we owned it, if only for the diaspora of an afternoon. You, hat rocks low, mine of course, and the BQE's shaking the foundations. Guests thought it was a heart attack, and in fact, I had to move all the furniture from all my walls to install the confidence that we would not fall. And disappear through the cracks of Adelphi's room streets. The heat of your back against my chest, the thoughts divested of plotting and intention. Only the moment that sparked on a hot, sticky Brooklyn evening between shots and your smile. Oh, your smile. But now my jeans are thin, and Berlin rock's minimal, and DJs are jukeboxes, and heads ain't all that liminal. And you sit a million miles away, rocking Prada and hipster chic, where we once cliqued. A millennium away, a world apart, a galaxy unbeknownst, beginning to start yet another set of post-millennium blues. And shot to the heart, but you ain't to blame, babe. No, you ain't to blame. Even like John said, you give it a bad name. And I ain't sad, babe, just a little bit nostalgic. And maybe still a bit young and certainly a bit tragic. But magic is still in me. And burning bellies still belie. And sometimes I still try. Wander through the cities. Yes, sometimes I still try to wander through the cities like barbarian camps. And wander through the shitty old cantankerous stance with my words that were once witty but are still often rants, buying used Hello Kitties for androgynous ants. Feeling like I'm fried since the day that I died. Yeah, I'm feeling like I'm fried since the day that I died. As I imagine the city that does not sleep, and all the promises that I failed to keep, and the pollution that runs so deep. It's in your soul. Yeah, it's in your soul. And even this eve, riding bikes in Berlin, I still to myself, even 14 years later, that studio scribbling in the state I'm in doesn't really make me a hater. But I guess I've finally come to accept with thoughts that start to crater. perhaps even all these 14 years later, yeah, perhaps even all these 14 years later, that I'm still just a chronic verbal masturbator.
All right, we are back for the third part of the third space with our guest, Kent Evans. So we just listened to one of a track called Paranoid. Do you want to say a few words about it?
Yeah. So again, this is from the upcoming Kentwood and Mites Berlin Sessions LPs that are coming out, and this is from Volume 1, the dancey one. And these are just basically a couple of tracks, including some remixes and stuff of stuff that we've done before, which are kind of in the style of late 90s German techno, with me doing poetry and stuff.
Great. And this is exactly where I want to take you, because I know you have been influenced by so much. You really listen to people. You really listen to. I think you've been very attentive your entire life to art scenes, to the art scenes everywhere, and you have a very good lecture of it, and it really translates in your work. But if you had to pick one work of art, be it music, painting, whatever, what would be the most relevant, like life transforming work of art for you ever?
Yeah, so that's, I mean, it's so hard to answer that question, right? So it's like, whether I'm thinking of like, you know, Bob Dylan and Lou Reed as lyrical influences, or, or Trent Reznor and the Beastie Boys as musical influences, or even someone like Anthony Bourdain, or like Roger Ebert as like kind of like life influences in general. If you force me and nail me down,
I am.
I guess something that hit kind of a lot of different things, kind of just made me aware that you could write in a manner that the way that he did. The first time I read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas by Hunter S. Thompson.
That's the word I was looking for you. That's the word I've been looking for this entire fucking podcast. Gonzo literature.
Gonzo literature.
Gonzo literature
I mean,
in its globality.
Confessional literature, whatever, literary, literary self-stroking.
This is very you, and I think this is where you and I also like relate, because I think my style of writing is a little bit like that as well, and this is so relevant. This new form of trash poetry journalism is so, you have it nailed down so well in every aspect of your work. Being a lyricist, being a writer, you were super gonzo, and I really love that about you.
It's funny because when I was younger, I had deliberately avoided reading any of the beat poets because everyone would constantly compare me to them, and I would be like, well, at least if I haven't read them, I have plausible deniability that I'm not directly ripping them off. But when I picked up Fear and Loathing, I was like, okay, I see it, and this guy's amazing, and he's hilarious. Like,
I think one of the first discussion we had, you and me, was, and that's interesting because before getting to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, you go through things such as John Fante, and one of the first discussion we've had was about John Fante, who's like very it's not yet gonzo literature, but it is the core.
I mean, his
drove the lines.
Yeah, I mean, Ask the Dusk. The whole story behind that novel was that Charles Bukowski, who frequently gets lumped in to these same kind of writers, that was his favorite writer, and it became Celine,
was my favorite, all-time favorite.
But yeah, they're kind of it's got. I mean, they themselves would probably, if they were alive, they would definitely rebuke the beat poet comparison. and even Gonzo journalism. But at the same time, I wish I liked Bukowski more.
I love because I've read Bukowski in French, in English, backward and forward. Like,
I
yeah.
mean, I like him. I like him. But I feel like I like him more just for his audacity than his actual ability to
Yeah,
write.
and he says the word "turd" a little bit too much.
Yeah, he's a big fan of that.
Talk about third. The art dinner. No, just kidding. That was not a good transition, Victoire. No, but like I just wanted to say, last night I had a meeting with the boys at the Rabbit Hole,
Yeah.
and I am so happy that we are switching venues now. The art dinner is gonna be at the Rabbit Hole, which is gonna give us the opportunity for live music as well. So we still have our darling chef, Gabriel Ordonez, who's magician,
He's
who broke his
incredible.
knees
Yeah.
2 days ago. Pulled it up.
He
We
broke his
love
knees?
you.
What?
He fell down the hole. We love you,
Oh
Gabo.
no.
We love you, Gabo. And Gabo is working with you on the menu to like feature dishes you're curating together. You're creating together based on your intention. We talk about that more when we do the carpool karaoke next week. But so yeah, we're moving the dinner to Rabbit Hole, and it's gonna be on the 23rd of June. I'm incredibly excited because we have such a wonderful team, such a wonderful venue. We are doing something that's both elevated and refreshing and exciting. It's very different from the art dinner. It's a podcast dinner. Santo has been working really hard on your dream track. We're gonna like listen to music. We're gonna eat. We're gonna dance. It's like it's a feast of all the senses, and it's gonna be at Rabbit 23rd of June. And are you excited about it?
I'm super psyched.
Oh,
I mean, like Raf and the boys, like, I mean, for people that don't know, the Rabbits are actually probably the biggest local band here, and there was actually a version of Rabbit before that was kind of one of the first venues to give my bands a place to play in San Miguel when I came here years ago. So yeah, I'm super psyched about that. And Gabo is an incredible chef. I'm trying to
And I'm
see.
very excited about your collaboration with him on the food.
Yeah,
Because we're not gonna reveal anything now because we're gonna talk more about it when we do carpool karaoke, like I started doing for all of the podcast. And I know you guys have been working very hard, and every dish is extremely significant, and so I'm excited to share it. And after the dinner, party time because you are playing with your band.
yep. I'm gonna be playing with Cayetano from Dust Industry and Zombie, who is an epic fail 1893 with me, and Rodrigo, who's a great local saxophone player, as well as who knows, maybe they'll be.
So
We'll see what we come
excited.
up with.
Right now, like we always do, we have our beloved producer Santo, who did. So you send Santo 5 tracks, sounds, or whatever, and he mixed them together to pretty much like create the dream track of your life. So we're gonna listen to that now, and we see you after for the last part of this podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
without sound or vibration, only pressure and purple and moistness against skin, and the sensation of falling in a mescaline moment. Time is running along the sands of the world. The villas of the universe and captured mountain states of space. From the city of Brooklyn to the city of dreams, to the shitty ruminations on thought writer screens. There is a logic in ways your lips touch. Unholy reason in their breaking time. Holy perfect moisture they leave on mine.
So yeah, and so that was your dream track. How do you feel about it?
It's I was pretty psyched.
Yeah, so it was like so you sent us like 5 of your songs, and Santo like took samples of it and like mix them together, and I think that's very beautiful because it's kind of the sum up of your art, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. I'm looking forward to the feedback of everybody. This is the end of this podcast. I want to thank you so much, Kent, for coming with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Vic.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to the art dinner, to carpool karaoke, to you being my brother forever because I
I'm a little terrified of the carpool karaoke.
you should be. And thank you, Santo. So that was the Third Space, a podcast presented by French Door Art Speakeasy here in San Miguel de Allende with guest Kent Evans and producer Santo. Love you guys and see you next time.